What's going on, everybody? Look at this poor girl right here. Look at her. She is dirty. Look, I pulled this car in like 2 days ago, and this snow is still on here. It's like I hadn't done anything. Like, it's been in here for at least 2 days. Earl's out there enjoying the weather and everything like that. So, But the reason why old girl's in here is we actually got to take off, or we got to check on this oil leak underneath the hood. So let me go ahead and pop the hood, and let's just go ahead and get started on this. So the other day I was out driving her. I believe it was actually like the 11th. And yeah, I noticed that I was smelling some burning oil in there. And I was like, what's up with that? And I got to looking, and I don't know if this oil came from there, but I mean, if you recall, I put on all brand new gaskets in this area right here. Everything was all new stuff. So I was kind of shocked to see how much oil was actually leaking there. I mean, it looks like, see the oil up in there and everything. And so it makes it seem as though it's leaking from the gasket, the brand new gasket that I just, like this brand new gasket I just put in. And I don't see any oil come from any, but maybe right there might have been some coming from right here, maybe. But I don't know. I mean, I was thinking about going ahead and just pulling this whole piece off right here and just capping it off right now, because I really don't need the aftermarket one right now because it's so cold outside. I can get by with the OEM one pretty much. I mean, hell, I could get by without either one of them at this point because it's so damn cold outside. But I'm not gonna go that route. I do need to pop those off and kind of see what the hell is going on in there, because yeah, it's kind of a lot of oil. And once I get it off, I can kind of give you an idea of how much oil there is. But there's this big ass chunk of aluminum that's kind of blocking my view right now. So let me get that off real quick. It's not hard. I believe it's like a 13 millimeter that holds it on. The hard part is coming in from this side to get to it. But I also I'm gonna open up this and hope that oil runs down into the oil pan, and that there isn't a whole lot of oil sitting up here. I don't know if that's gonna work or not. I'm actually expecting a fair amount of oil, possibly. So okay, so I got my charge pipe off and all that good stuff, because I need that area to go up in here so I can get up in there. So what I've done right now is I've actually, removed my filter, and I'm gonna let it just kind of hang out over here and not put it back on. That way it can drain down, hopefully. Whew, it is cold out here. I had to take off my jacket though, because I needed all my arm space to get up into that tiny little hole. So let me let that drain down, and I'll be right back. What is going on? So if you saw the post, you saw that I had some issues, but we're not going to get too much into that because we already discussed that with the post. We don't need to get more into it. But while we're here, I just wanted to kind of show you a little bit more in depth what we got here. So, excuse me, B. Okay, so what we got here is, I've been working on this for a while, because that laptop, it was actually it was kind of weak. I had troubles with the editing, especially if I did like a 4K or something like that. But this one right here has a gigabyte motherboard. It's got right now it has 16 gigabytes of RAM. It had 32, but 2 of the RAM, these guys right here, stopped working for some reason. So I gotta get some more. And I want to have a whole matching set for that. But let's see, it's got a i7 processor. It's just got a regular monitor. It's nothing crazy. I do want to upgrade it to make it be more of a gaming system, but I still got to get a GPU for it. And let's see, I'm running a 650 Corsair modular power supply. Let's see, this is a I think every case lights up these days, but it's a very small case. I didn't want one of those massive cases. I may eventually upgrade. It's got two 175 CFM fans in the front and one 240 CFM fan in the back that actually robbed out of some like really old, not really old, but some older Dell towers. And then it's got the CPU one. It's a 110 CFM on the CPU for the cooler on it. So it's got a lot of cooling on it. It probably, I mean, and I'm not even doing any gaming on it at this point anyway, so it's not really going to affect it. But the processor is clocked up a little bit, so it will generate some heat. But enough about that. Let's get back. Let's work on a BMW. Okay, so back to the car. As you can see, I am very bundled up because it is quite cold. I don't know how cold it is. I'm thinking 2, maybe negatives. I don't know. There's no wind blowing, so that's a plus. So we're back to looking at this right here. And I've been doing a lot of reading and everything like that. And one of the things that people have been saying is that sometimes you get some gasket material that was already kind of like aged and like hardened and whatnot like that, and it'll just leak no matter what. And that's what I have going on, is it's just leaking. Now I was thinking, well, maybe it was because maybe I didn't do something right, because I mean I torqued it down. It seems like I torqued everything fine, but I mean I went by the specs. It's 16. Let's see, it's for the oil cooler. It's 16. I mean, hold on. I don't want to lie to you. Yeah, so the cooler was 16 Newton meters and 22 Newton meters for the filter housing. Actually, right here, So this bolt, and the one on the other side over there. So I guess the only thing I can do is try to put everything back on and basically just torque it all down like it's supposed to, and if it ends up leaking, then I'm probably going to have to replace the gaskets again. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I got these from ECS Tuning, so they should be good. I mean, I think they're a good, reputable brand. I do believe they are. What the? Oh, ha! I was like, what is that? That's ice. Yeah, it's totally ice. I still have snow. That's how cold it is. I still have snow right there from whenever I brought it in like 2 weeks ago. I feel like it's been that long. But like I said, gonna go ahead and take this and we're gonna put it back onto that right there. And we're gonna torque it down to 16 Newton meters and hope that that is what we need to do. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got here. So I went ahead and tightened it all down. Like I said, 16 Newton meters for the oil filter and 22 for right here. This, if you're just doing foot pounds, this actually breaks down to 11.8 ish. So this one would be around like, I don't know, 12, 13. I'm not exactly sure. I tightened that one down at the time, but for some reason when I was tightening these down, I don't remember ever doing those. My phone just made a noise. Especially the bottom one. I don't remember torquing the bottom one. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this whole oil leaking was just because of some hardened gaskets that are, leaking like crazy now. But maybe they weren't. Maybe this whole time it was because I didn't tighten down that one underneath there. I mean, it has been coming from the bottom, so there's a chance I could have been the cause of all this. So what I'm gonna do now is I sprayed the belt down because I didn't want any oil on this. Oil and belts, they don't work together. So I got that cleaned up and I went ahead and sprayed down for any oil that may have leaked down while this thing was off or whatever. So I went ahead and sprayed some more down. Got so much oil every freaking where. I really hate doing all this stuff right here because no matter what I do, I always get oil on everything. Always. There's oil here, everywhere. It's annoying. So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and put that back on and put those back on. I thought about leaving that off, but nah. I don't know where the bolt is that would hold that on. So just without that right there, so I'm gonna put both of those back because that wasn't leaking, that was fine. So I'll put that back, and then we will, that's a challenge because as you can see, I have you can barely see it, but right there is a socket ready to go back to right there to tighten that down. But before I can put that back on, I gotta put the belt back on because I won't be able to get to the belt otherwise. Alright, so got all my stuff put back in, got my connections nice and tight. Everything should be good and tight. I do want to put some zip ties on here because I noticed that this one's really hard to get on, but this one can go on pretty easily. And I'd like that to be a little bit harder, so I'll put a zip tie on that to just kind of like tighten that up. And I might throw one on that one too, just to be sure, because I don't want to be losing any vacuum or anything like that. And yeah, really the last thing I got to do, I want to go ahead and, I mean, the oil looked fantastic, but the problem is I'm worried that I got possibly some water in there, but I didn't take off this part. All I did was take this part off, and on this end, the oil goes up on the top, and then right over here on this side right here is where the coolant would come through. So I don't think I got any water in the oil in that sense. I don't really think so at all. So, I mean, I didn't have any coolant leaking during all of this. It was only oil. So, you know, it makes me think that maybe I did tighten that connection down, or that bolt down on the bottom, because, you know, this side is where the coolant is. And if that wasn't tightened down, then it would have leaked from there. So if it continues to leak, that means I got to replace the gaskets again. That means I got some bad gaskets from ECS, because I didn't hold on to them for very long. I had them for maybe like a couple weeks, maybe a month before I finally put them on. I just waited till I got here. So tomorrow, it's a little too late to crank it up the loud ass BMW tonight, but tomorrow when I get off of work, we'll go ahead and crank this up and see how it's doing, see if it's leaking still. Okay, so all right, so the BMW battery is dead. The BMW battery is dead, so unfortunately we will not be cranking it today. I will try to get that taken care of tomorrow, but I mean, yeah, I'm gonna have to drive it around just to see what's going on anyways. So on the next video, we're gonna get back to some Earl. I'm moving this back out, and we're bringing Earl in, and we might be pulling that motor out. I don't know. It's got a bit of an oil leak, and I think it's coming from the rear main seal. I have this sneaky suspicion. So, and that would have been on me. That would have been my fault. So, which is like everything, most things that have happened. So that's all right though. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get a battery for this so this can get out of here, and we'll get your favorite vehicle back up in here, which is Earl. Which there is some good news coming about Earl, but you gotta wait and see. It's gonna be down the line, but yeah, good news. Don't worry.